Hello everybody, vanburman here. Welcome to today's podcast, and I have a guest with me, or co-host, whatever you want to call it.
As you do.
You're not going to introduce yourself?
I need no introduction. I am both here and there. I am black, I am white, I am sky, I am night. What am I?
I don't know. But it doesn't matter.
ColdSteelGames.
Yes, well, your logo's on the screen anyway, so people can see that if they're at all interested. And I'll also stick a annotation on your logo that goes to your channel, because I like you.
And several profane gifs that pop up occasionally and insult me for no reason.
Yeah, but that's not my fault.
No, that's part of the course these days.
It is. It is.
It is. Alright. So we've got to occupy our time with something. Please tell me you thought of something.
Well, I thought you would know what we were going to talk about.
Right, this is already... I have to rely on my... I'm just going to look at my channel, find a thumbnail and talk about it. Have you seen the Flash pilot yet?
No, I don't care.
Yeah, you know.
I'd rather they remade He-Man than did Flash.
Didn't they remake He-Man in the early 2000s?
They need to remake it again for no reason.
It's like the new adventures of He-Man. You look like fucking Aquaman.
They need to redo it again because we need a show that is worse than the remake of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No. We need a show that's worse than the new Thundercats. That was so bad it had one season.
Although Thundercats was pretty bad to start off with, so...
No, I'll tell you what's a bad animated show. Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Fucking hate it. Horrible. Imagine someone
Only
said
blind
to you,
people watch that anyway, so you're fine.
Yeah, but it's like, imagine someone said to you, "Oh, we're gonna make a massive, gigantic animated. We're gonna make a massive, just gigantic animated sort of universe, and it's gonna stem from all of the Star Wars canon, and we're gonna set it in the first 3 films." Do you mean 4, 5, and 6? No. Oh God.
You're talking to a guy that's
I don't-
never seen Star Wars, so this is totally and utterly lost upon me.
How have you gone through life this far?
I feel as though it's been an advantage not having seen Star Wars.
You haven't seen how Luke Skywalker conquered the Sith, and you haven't seen how...
Luke, I am your
he
father.
went up-
What more is there to know?
Well, you haven't seen him and Lando Calrissian when they go and get, call girls and Cloud Sith... Cloud...
You're not really selling it to me.
It's good.
I'd rather go and
They're
play
good.
Mass Effect again, if I'm totally honest with you.
Oh yeah, Mass Effect 3, what a brilliant game that was.
It was alright, apart from the ending.
Yes.
But then again, we already knew BioWare didn't make good endings, so this shouldn't be a surprise.
We already know that BioWare don't make good games half the time. I mean, they either make a game that has less bugs than their other games, or they make a big fantasy or sci-fi MMO that goes free to play in 4 months.
They're a lot better than many games companies, though. So.
Really? Okay.
And
name the games. Name one.
Square Enix.
Publisher, they're better than.
And considering that they're owned by EA, I think they do quite a good job in it.
Square Enix published Deus Ex: Human Revolution. That was a
come on,
great
man.
game.
That was ages ago.
It published Sleeping Dogs, which is a good game, which is unnecessarily getting remade for PS4, for the One, and for the PC. Why remake a game for PC?
At the end of the day, it doesn't make any sense because both Square and Enix are both known for RPGs. They're not known for either of those two type of games.
I know, right?
And yet they're just making it for, well, what is effectively money spinning.
Yeah, but it's essentially like this, there was this old drawing, sort of like a comic type drawing thing I saw, And it started off, this is very, 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 very basic. This guy stood in a room. Tim likes to bake cakes, and he would have one variety of cake, and he would sell lots of cake, and then he realized if he makes more cakes and more varieties of cakes, he can make more money. So he makes more and more and more and more cakes, until his original cake that he makes is so like non-popular and so undereaten at his cake establishment that he no longer serves it, and he sort of loses sight of what he originally set out to do, while being a lot richer and a lot more,
But Square Enix aren't a lot richer.
And a lot more well known, but they've sort of lost sight of who they once were.
Anyway, I moan about Square Enix far too much on my channel, so we probably shouldn't go on.
Chrono Trigger!
I hope one day Square Enix watch my channel. Although the day that happens is probably the day I get shut down. So, yeah.
No, the day it happens is when you get like loads of really just sort of strangely worded Twitter questions from interns at Square Enix.
No, it's not even that, because if Square Enix look at my channel, I'm going to get shut down.
Trust me, the amount of stuff I've said about companies.
They're just no, because they'll look at my channel and they'll see their games on there and they'll just go, nope.
He's bad-mouthing our games and making money off of them.
No. Square Enix run their ship like Nintendo run their ship.
Oh, come on, they're not as bad as
yeah.
Nintendo.
You're only allowed to you're allowed to use Final Fantasy XIV footage under very strict circumstances. You have to have a trademark at the bottom saying where the game's from. You have to you're not allowed to show any cutscenes, and you can only show stuff that is purely from your own, that is purely of your own gameplay, like that purely involves you.
Yeah. Not even like. So not even like Final Fantasy X, where they have that really like horrific laugh scene where it's like like that. You can't even show that.
You can't show any cutscene footage, no.
That's bullshit. It's like why are you censoring your games? He's trying to get it out to a broader market so more people will buy it. He's essentially advertising for you, and you're saying fuck your free.
Yeah, but they don't care. I mean, at the end of the day,
it's like fuck your advertising. Give us that penny you owe us.
I mean, I made a review for Final Fantasy 3 when it came out originally, and I had a load of messages off people telling me they were going to buy it because of the review that I did on it, because they thought it was a good.
Exactly, yeah.
But they don't care about that. That doesn't bother them, because as far as they're concerned, they're going to get those sales whether I advertise it or not, which isn't true necessarily.
Yeah, I'm literally convinced that Square Enix was once a few people in a room, and now it's just sort of a robot, like not even like a sophisticated robot, not even like a T-800 or a T-850 from Terminator.
The problem is that Square and Enix have always had different philosophies on RPGs, and when they merged together, it's sort of gone like halfway between the two, to an extent.
Yeah, I get that, but it's like you just sort of imagine Square Enix is just some sort of like really boxy 1960s robots with like a fax machine like slit in their stomach, and they don't go, oh, he's advertising for us. They go, violation.
He's using our game footage. He's not allowed.
Profiting.
Yeah.
And one of them would spin his whisk of hands, sort of make like weird rattly noises and explode. Another one would print out a fax from their stomach and say, we must head down the vanburman channel. And they all sort of like get together in like a secret society of Square Enix robots or something. And they have like some sort of like high council, all in favour, bleep, all opposed, bloop. That's sort of how I imagine it.
Probably. Although, if I'm honest, I think I've probably earned my the whole $15 that I've earned from their from the content.
15?
So
Are you serious? 15? Really?
it's probably some. Well, it's a bit more than that, but it's not. It's in between 15 and 30.
What was 15? The entire Let's Play on the one review?
No. 15 was like my entire Let's Play of Final Fantasy 8, effectively.
8? Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
No, 7 was what I was thinking of. 7 did really well, didn't it? 7 did, it's just 8 didn't do.
8. My Final Fantasy 8 Part 1 video's got like 13,000 views, so...
13? That
Yeah.
was like 3. I thought it was like, oh, maybe I haven't checked it in a while. So, I mean, on the subject of that sort of thing, do you think they'll ever sort of, they'll take like Final Fantasy, right, and they'll just put like the first one? I say the first one. They'll put Final Fantasy 3, and isn't Final Fantasy 3 like Final Fantasy 6, or is it? Because there
was a bit of a confusion with all of that. Basically, it was released in it was released in America under a different title than it was in Japan.
Yeah, I'm not too big on RPGs, especially not the older ones like the battery saves and that sort of thing. I should be, I'm just not. It's like,
well, I mean,
dark.
games have changed quite a lot, and there's nothing wrong with liking one particular generation to another, to be honest.
So it's like my idea of a good RPG is Deus Ex Human Revolution. Like,
yeah, which is, but it's more of an action RPG.
Yeah.
And it's you got the shooter elements, well, first-person shooter elements to it as well. So.
And the third-person shooter. To me, I just found the whole idea of I am going to stand still while you telegraph your attack, and I won't dodge it or anything, and I'll just get hit in the face. Then I'll punch you, and you'll punch me, and then I'll launch a plague of, I don't know, liquid death directly at you, and you'll die.
Well, I mean, the bit I like about it is find a vent to hide in, and you're safe for life.
What's
Pretty
that?
much.
Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the vent system. Speaking of vent systems, Metro Last Light. Do you have that game?
No, I don't.
Now that is one that should be on your first-person shooter challenge. I got that on the 13th, and last month, and I started playing it, and I got a considerable way through it. It's very challenging.
I was very close to getting it in the Steam sale, but that never materialized.
It's good. It has a load of. It's a thinking man's shooter. Like, you have to, if you go up on the surface, you have to check your filters. You have to look for new gas masks. You have to conserve your bullets, because if you run out, you're basically screwed.
Yeah.
You have to, work with throwing knives and takedowns and that sort of thing, and looting, and it channels Deus Ex in a way, and that sort of scavenge to survive, but a little more harshly than what Deus Ex would, because if it's the original, you've got the fucking cattle prod, so no one will get in your way, and if it's Human Revolution, because there were only 2 Deus Ex games released on PC, Invisible War never happened, obviously. If it was Human Revolution, you just run up to people. You have the infinite battery trainer program on your computer, and you go and just punch
infinite battery trainer.
I remember like years ago we had this original. I can't say Xbox One anymore, but we had this original. We had this like the fat Xbox, the Xbox who ate all the pies, and it had a chip underneath where you could put games in, and it would copy the games. And basically, we used to just like rent loads of games and put it in, copy it, take it out, post it back. And we had like a Crash to Sanity trainer, and I was messing about with all the sliders and stuff, and it made like a sort of a slowish game where Crash was deforming and purple. It was kind of scary. I think we also had Batman Begins on there. That was quite good. And then again, I was like 2005. I was like 7. So yeah, and that can't be. That is right. Yeah, that is right. Wow. Damn. As the days go by, So we never really thought of a topic. So I'm going to think of one, and you're going to have to answer it. What are you going to do for your 1,000?
Retire?
Really? What? I get 1,000? Let's fucking stop.
At the minute, it's actually still a consideration, but I'm being deadly honest.
I can't exactly do a face reveal because everyone knows what I look like. Kind of dropped the ball on that one there.
I've been asked to do a setup video, like going through my bits and bits.
Oh, they're the most boring videos ever. Just like, oh, you should do a setup video, and I remember this guy I used to do like videos and stuff like way back when. He's now on like 6,000 subs now. I did not mean to say that. Anyway,
I am going to do a bit of a prize as well, as always.
That'd be best. But he did a setup video, and it was literally, "Hello, this is my computer. Can't remember the specs. It's black.
It's black.
It's about 28 centimeters high. It's made of steel. It's got parts inside."
Oh yeah, my idea would be to show the parts and talk about them more.
Here is my desktop, and I remember like he had BitTorrent running in the video, and it was like, yeah, we all have BitTorrent, but you can't show BitTorrent in the video, otherwise I'll think you just steal every game that you play on PC, which for me that's absolutely true. But come on.
What, me?
No, for me. Like, at the moment, I just go, well, my computer's fucked anyway.
I'm gonna say you can look at my Steam library if you want.
Fear Steam library.
It's apparently worth $3,000.
$3,000.
Yeah, something like that. If everything was on, like, if you bought everything on sale, that's what it would. That's how much it would cost.
Oh yeah, of course. Oddly enough, Steam is like, it's the only place where I bought games I already know I own multiple times. For example, it's true too. I remember I must have had Prototype at least 3 times. I bought it on Steam because I thought, oh, I'll have interesting games, I'll play. Guess what? The computer can't run a game in 2009, which is fantastic. And I actually have Prototype 2 on 360. I barely played it though, I don't know why. I only bought
It's like me with Fallout 3. I bought it for the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and PC. Yeah. And the same thing with Oblivion as well. I bought that on all 3 consoles that I've owned.
Yeah, definitely. You just sort of buy these games. Like, I'll play it eventually, and you never do. And you think, why did I buy it? And you realize, oh yeah, it was 67 pence. No. So it's like when games are that cheap on Steam, it's not, oh look at all the great games I got. It's, holy shit, I can buy 12 games I've never heard of for £1. What crazy fall? What can snatch this up?
That's more like the blooming bundles, really, rather than the Steam sale.
It almost becomes sort of like, sort of not like, oh, I've got all these great games, but sort of like a competition with your friends. How many Steam games do you have? 137. Guess how many I've got? 143. Fucking suck it, That's sort of how it is.
You could literally just install all the free-to-play games, and you'd probably have like 100 games anyway.
Free-to-play, Korean MOBAs, Chinese MOBAs.
Yeah, basically.
So on. So I have lots of games. Jim, why have you got Ultima 1998 in your Steam account? Thought I might play it one day. The service hasn't been up for 16 years. Oh god. So it's weird, like when you did the Kickstarter videos, I was like, oh, I'll stop after the first one. I still fucking do them.
You're still doing the Kickstarter videos.
I'm still doing them, and I think one of them.
I gave up.
you gave up because you can't be as harsh as I can be for as long as I can.
No, I
There's
can't.
an ounce of humanity to you that's lost with me, you know. It's like, oh, where is it? Where is it? I'll find it. Where me and Super Luigi, we just there's this guy called Manstranium.
The problem with those videos is that you can hardly hear the other guy,
Yeah, I know because I have to record directly off of
and it
Skype.
makes them basically unwatchable.
It's because I'm lazy. I render the videos in .avi instead of rendering them as a .camrec and then uploading them as a .mp4 because it takes less time. It's instant and it goes up.
Or you
That's the
could
thing.
get a PC and get XSplit, which is far superior.
Well, guess what? When I get a PC at some point in the near future, like probably by the end of summer, I'll challenge you on that. But for right now,
You'll challenge me.
I'll challenge you on that. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a fucking behemoth of a thing. My desk will collapse with the weight of the fucking thing. Oh my god, fucking hell. But I mean, this YouTuber called Manstranium, and me and Soups, we just ripped this guy apart senselessly. Just when we laughed at him for so, and you could actually hear him now, and it was only the one where I had the mic angled weirdly, but honestly, it was audible, and it got 1,000 views for no reason. It's like, thanks for 1,000 views of us being horrible to this 13-year-old. Yeah, thanks for that. You know, of all the videos you could have given all the videos you could have given 1,000 views to. Like, oh, I don't know, CSG plays Watch Dogs. Just throwing that out there for you.
Well, I mean, have you noticed that just the quality of the video, well, it's obvious, but the quality of the video doesn't guarantee you views. I mean, you could make a really good video, perfectly edited, that's got all the bits that you want to put in, it's got funny lines, it's got interesting, points brought up, but at the end of the day, if people don't watch it, then it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. And that's sort of why that's why I used to do a show called Forced Update that was quite popular, where I sort of said, here's 6 news stories in 5 minutes, go, and I go, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, end. And it was like that, but with a bit more detail. And I did about 4 episodes, and the only reason I stopped was my PC couldn't render the episodes properly because it was picture-in-picture, and it had a moving slider bar, and had music in the background and all that. And this computer's very old, well, not very old, but it's a laptop from 2009. You can't really expect that great quality, to be honest. Which it's going to be improved soon. Don't worry about that. But it's like that's why I'm doing the new stories now, like the Chinese couple, the PS Vita, the Microsoft one, to see if I can wrangle in any more subs and any more viewers, and then sort of just convert them to watching the other stuff. Because I've got to be honest, I'm guilty of this myself. I'll subscribe to someone for one video, and then when they make others, I don't watch them, and then I understand that with my own videos, and I sort of try and eliminate that.
Well, it depends what videos people have subscribed for, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, and it's particularly difficult for variety gamers like you and like you and I, because we don't do one game, we do lots.
Yeah,
of games.
I mean, at the end of the day, I want to do videos on games that I want to play, and I don't want to play. For example, I wouldn't want to do just a Elder Scrolls Online channel because I don't want to just play Elder Scrolls Online for the rest of my life.
I mean, yeah, exactly. vanburman wants to be the very best. I know I never was.
Pokemon. Speaking of that, someone sent me a message through YouTube asking me if I could do an RPG Maker tutorial on some sort of like Pokemon mod that someone's made. It contains about 70 different scripts, and he said that every time he tries to do it, he gets all these problems with it, like initializing it, and all these errors, and he wants to know like if I can get it to work properly. And I looked at all the scripts, and I was like, that is going to take me forever and ever and ever just to set that up.
I mean, unless he's making like a playable version of Pokemon Rusty, then I don't see a point. If you don't know what Pokemon Rusty is, it's
yeah, it's Dorkly.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good.
I imagine a playable version of that. You know, you could like capture 3 TikToks in one Pokeball, so like just squeeze them all together. I like that show, but I prefer just the dorky bits. You know, where it's oh, here's a filler in a podcast. I feel lazy. That's the thing. I never use filler on my videos. Just when I'm thinking like this. Oh, I know what we can talk about. This is sort of relevant to both of us. You got a new mode of transport, did you not?
Well, I don't actually physically have it yet, but it will be.
Okay, you
I will have
ordered
it.
one.
Yeah.
Is it a black? Is it a black Vespa?
No.
Is it green?
No.
What is it like? One of those like older ones, with, like the sort of like the steel Vespa name carved into the side of it, and it's sort of quite small. Or is it like one of the larger ones that they do?
It's yeah.
I don't see what.
It's in an older style, basically.
Oh, I see. I don't see why you didn't just buy like a 125 motorbike. I mean,
I've got a 125 scooter. That would do.
Yeah, but scooters.
I just prefer the look of them. That's all. I think they're quite classy.
Yeah, they're safer. They're safer than motorbike than the motorbikes, obviously.
And I don't like the riding position on motorbikes either.
You could, but that's debatable. I mean, you could go from the Harley same position, which is like you sat really far back, to
yeah, but it's all about what you're comfortable with, isn't it? And I did my CBT in a general on a.
Did you do it on a moped or on a 125?
I did it on I did it on a 50.
Or 50cc?
Yeah.
I thought. Oh well, no, wait.
No, you're allowed to. Yeah.
No, because when I did you do yours in the rain?
No, I didn't do it in the rain.
The first one I did it in the rain, and we were doing this really dumb thing when like most people slipped. I slipped up first, but at least I got directly back up off it. Speaking of which, my moped is it's a scooter, and a 50 because I'm 16 at the moment.
Yeah, you can't have it till you set. You can't have 125 till you're 17, can you?
And when I'm 17, I'm going to buy myself. Well, I'm going to buy it and then sort of teach myself to ride it, because I can't be asked to shell out 120 quid for someone to shout at me and tell me how to ride it. So I'm going to learn myself.
That's the only problem with CBTs. They're just they're quite expensive for a 2 hour.
Yeah. But the first time I went and did the CBT, the guy who did it was a complete prick. Okay, he was. No. He was horrible. He was absolutely horrible. He was like, "You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Push over this leg. Look back. Look back."
You couldn't be doing it more wrong if your name was wrong or something.
You can be doing it more incorrect if your name was Dumblecon Dimblegree. You know, it's like, my God, chill, man, chill. But the second time I did it, the week after I did it, that was a lot better. The guy was he was chill, and I was chill as well.
Yeah, because I mean, it does rub off on you, doesn't it, when you got what sort of instructor you've got?
Did you go for that, like for the road test up in the country roads, like the windy roads? Do you not have that where you live?
No, I did it like in the middle of a busy town, basically, and around to the outskirts. So
yeah, we
sort of got a mixture of everything in mind.
We went through like several towns, and we went along these like really like long bendy roads, and I was going like full speed. I wasn't even touching the brake, just leading around corners and shit, because I have no fear, and that
it's not always a good thing not to have any fear.
No, it's not. Then again,
I mean, even Batman has fears, so
yeah, his fears are completely irrational.
Well, yes, that's true.
It's like, I am the knight. It's like, fuck off, mate. You'll get scared by fucking Ozzy Osbourne dangling a fucking rubber bat over your head. It's like, calm down. Ooh, spooky. But I mean, you know, funny story about the CBT. Second time, this Brazilian woman, right? She was 100% dead set on going on a Yamaha YBR125, which is the bike I'm going to get when I turn 17. And she was god awful. He said like loads of times, "All right, you have to go." I know how to flick up and down a gear changer because I tried it when I was in Fowler's. My dad bought his Suzuki Bandit 1200S a few weeks ago. That's a damn good bike. That is Suzuki 1200S. But basically, this woman, she was dead set on riding a Yamaha 125, and she couldn't work the gears to save her life. Like, she would stop frequently, she would slide, she would just be awful. Right?
Apparently, the gears are quite hard to do though if it's your first time.
They're really not, because all you have to do is you have to memorize. You kick it, you move your foot slightly up and down to change, between gear 3, gear 4, gear 5, and then you sort of go. If you want to go to say from neutral, say you have to start it. You have to put your bike in neutral to stop. Then you have to go down to first, so to start accelerating. And as you get faster and faster, second, third, fourth, it's literally like gears on a push bike. It's the same concept, but instead of it being, I imagine if it was like, you could just turn it, or like flick a button, and it would go automatically instead of you having to kick it. I think that's where it's, it's kick operated. People are like a bit hazy on it. But that is, it comes with trial and error, you're not gonna fuck up on a bike unless you're drunk or it's someone else's fault. I can tell you for a fact I was drunk. But anyway, to get back to the story, this woman, she was hopeless, and me and this guy, I think his name was Shane, we were just laughing at her. I couldn't stop, honestly. Granted, we were doing it on mopeds, and she had a tougher time. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. But we had to do emergency stop. Only her arms would lift up the handlebars. She'd almost handstand and stop the bike, but she couldn't handle how the front suspension went in. She would almost flip over the handlebars every time. It was fucking hilarious. And you might think
she still passed, didn't she?
You're like, oh, okay, that sounds potentially dangerous. You wouldn't let her out on the road, would you? No. So he said, in her best interest, you should take, because you can only take 2 people out on the road, as I'm sure you found out.
Yeah.
2 people on the road, yeah. So it was 3 of us, and I came back for my second turn. So Shane's like, he was just getting bored. We were there for way too long because, again, this woman on the fucking geared bike couldn't fucking do it. So then, he said, okay, you can have. Don't take this bike out because I'm sure you're gonna kill yourself on it. I'll tell you. No. You can laugh, but I'll tell you what happened. Instead, take this what was it? 125 grey scooter. And
it doesn't matter what colour it is.
I'm just telling you from memory. Right?
Oh right, okay.
Just to get it through my mind, and. Well, it was all going well, we were speeding along these long and narrow roads and darting along. But then her kryptonite came about. And you want to know what it was? Bus
the road?
Nope, bus shelters.
She has to ride into every single bus shelter.
No, not every single one. But there was this very, 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 very tight turn where. Because we come down this very steep hill again, mountain, well not mountains, but quite, steep countrysides. And I was coming down full speed behind this other guy, who was the instructor. He was obviously on this, on this big, built up, Suzuki type thing. Easily 1250 cc, that sort of thing. And he was just going along, he'd occasionally check his his left mirror to see where we were. But I was just going down. I was just going with it, and then you have little radios on you, and he says, right, do this, and that's how you sort of. Did you have that? Or did you have the radios?
Yeah, we had the radios. Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And he would say, "I be very, very careful here.
Yeah.
Here it's where you have to take a very sharp turn. This is where I'm going to practice sharp turns." Because if you don't, you might injure yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I went, fuck it, whatever. So I was there screaming yeah! Took the corner, instantly cleared it without even skimming it or anything. I was about what? Let's see. I was 4 foot away from it. I was still. I was coming up. I was almost directly on the white dotted line. That was how close I was in. There was no cars around, so I could have literally just waved in and out between the between the two, but I didn't. I don't think her radio was working, because even though I was only a few feet ahead of her, instead of doing what I, the instructor, did, she smacked directly into the bus shelter.
What?
Yes, she smacked directly into the bus shelter, and I thought, and because I was, I couldn't hear it over the roar of the engine type of thing.
Yeah.
I was,
sometimes it's a bit hard to hear on those radios.
Opposite. And then all I hear is like, and I think, oh God, no, something terrible's gone wrong. I might have scratched the wind mirror on the bus shelter. That's what I was thinking. I might have damaged the mirror. And then I just see the instructor stop, and then I stop, and I actually have to turn out ahead of him slightly, and then stop ahead of him because I was going faster than he was. And then I look behind me, and she's on the floor with this moped had gone through the glass of this bus shelter, and it took about 20 minutes to get up and running again. And
wow.
Throughout this CBT, I was because me and Shane, we were telling her everyone falls once. Everyone falls once on a CBT. For me, it was in the rain at like 2 miles an hour. And it was, yeah.
Sometimes you can fall because you've not gone fast enough, though.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. I wasn't going quick enough. That was like when I first got on one for the first time, and I slipped and I caught it as I was falling, so I didn't injure myself. And Shane said it was when he was going along the road, and he hit. It was like really, really slippery, and he went over like, I think it was like, what they called, like cat's eyes, and the bike slipped and he lost control and he slipped off. He was alright. And then I said everyone has their one fall, but for me it was more like two, but that wasn't a fall, that was someone else's fault. But anyway, essentially what happened was, after she got up, she continued, and she was going very, very cautiously afterwards. We had to go a lot slower afterwards. And she was in the middle, I was at the back, so I was just like, I was on a slower machine than she was as well. Hers went 70, mine went like 31. So
well, yours would have been restricted anyway, wouldn't it? So.
Yeah, so mine was restricted, so I couldn't like get up any serious speed, and I was stuck behind her the whole time. So we get back to the race course where the CBT takes place, and well, we bring the bikes. We bring the bikes, we bring them down the concrete strip, and we park them outside the green container. And then we realise, okay, we have left the red moped from earlier, the other 125 and that blue Yamaha that she tried to ride from earlier, up at the top, up where the training bit was. So okay, I ran up and I got onto the red moped. Oh, red scooter. It was faster than I should have been on, but oh well, YOLO swaggins, all that shit. Whatever. And, I accelerated forwards. And I did the smart thing, because obviously they teach you this. When you're on grass, especially wet grass, what brake do you pull?
If you're on wet grass?
Yes, if you're on wet grass.
I wouldn't have expected to take my scooter on wet grass, so I don't really know.
Okay, alright, fine. Okay, if you're on a gravel road, or you happen to be like on water, or like in like torrential rain conditions, what brake do you pull? What brake do you not pull? What brake do you pull? You pull the back brake gradually, because then if you pull the front, it could lock up and you could spin out of control. Yeah. And that's where the fuck-ups happen. So I went down, I pulled the back brake, and I just one of my most proudest moments. I brought it down the grass, and I managed to like power slide it directly inside the green container they were being kept. And I got off and I did the kickstand, or not the kickstand, center stand, and then I got out. Here up, ka-tunk. And then I look out, and she had not done an epic power slide like me. She had in fact gone twice as fast as I had, directly into the green container, and cut her leg up.
What?
And guess what?
What?
Guess what? Her boyfriend came down and started having a go at the instructor, and I had to say, it's not his fault, it's her fault for pulling the wrong fucking brake. She can't ride a 125 motorbike, she just can't do it.
She shouldn't be going that fast anyway. to be honest.
Yeah, she was going like 70 on wet grass, which is supposed to do what? Like, supposed to do what? Between like 15 and 30, just so you don't slip off and die? But she gashed up her leg really, really badly. And she was there having to go at the instructor, and the boyfriend was there having to go at the instructor. And I was there like, it's not his fault. She can't fucking ride it. She can't do it. She shouldn't have got on it. She wouldn't have hurt herself. And then, because I assume the guy just didn't want to get fucking sued or anything, he just let her pass. I assume she's probably dead now. Oh well, I passed, but I passed pretty fucking well. And that is my CBT story. I imagine yours isn't quite as...
I sort of hit a curb on mine and nearly spun. But I was fine, that was it.
I used to do that coming back from school sometimes. There's this turning called Wedmore Park, and I don't go up there, but basically where you turn in, it's a lot wider than you think it's going to be, and I always end up sort of going skimming the curve occasionally, and it's kind of scary because you think, oh, but I don't know. I think after my fall, I'm gonna get back on it in a few months as soon as I've healed up, and then I'll be right back on it, like nothing happened.
So you're gonna be able to scooter again?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any like 16-year-olds or anything there doing it when you did your CBT.
No, I did a guy who had gears as well, but he fared rather better than your particular person. He had a bit of a trouble sometimes getting it into the right gear, but apart from like the occasional stall, that was it. Yeah, he was fine.
Was that the 125 up like the smaller bikes, like the quite low down ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine they are pretty tricky, but it's like saying, I'm gonna buy one first. I'm gonna learn the gears and stuff for a few days, and then I'm gonna go out and ride it round. Well,
the thing is, you can go and get your CBT on a 50cc, and then straight away go out and buy a 125 with gears.
Exactly. Yeah. and then with that, hell, you could probably do the full motorbike test on the 50 or on the 125. So.
Yeah. Which I probably should do at some point, but isn't the motorbike test quite expensive?
It is expensive, but it's not. You don't have to do as much as you do in the CBT. You haven't got to do lifesavers. You've only got to do one figure of 8. You haven't got to do any like slalom type moves or like S's and that sort of thing. It's a lot easier, but it's sort of like you sort of refine the skills you've already got, so you have to be a lot more precise than maybe you were when you first got on one. Right. But do you feel confident like riding one? Like, you don't think one day if it's like really raining, you'll ever like you'll go too quick or you'll make one error. You're not like worried about making a mistake.
Mistakes are gonna happen whether you worry about them or not. So at the end of the day, you will make less mistakes if you make yourself confident in your ability.
Yeah.
So you've just got to go out and think, I know what I'm doing. Stick to the speed limit. Make sure I'm not harsh on the brakes, and generally you're going to be okay. It's just the problem is the mistakes that other people will force you into are what's get you into trouble.
Oh yeah,
not what you're doing.
And always stay in the centre. Like don't even slight either way of the road.
Because at the end of the day, you've got to imagine well, this is what my instructor said to me: is you've got to imagine yourself as you're a car, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to go
and you take up that whole lane as far as anyone else is concerned. So.
Yeah, and you have, you pay tax and MOT and insurance and all that, so you have a right to be in the middle of the road.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just bought my insurance today, actually, like literally before I got in the call with you. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Mine was quite cheap the way we did it.
Well, I'm paying for mine monthly, so it makes it a bit more expensive, but...
Oh, right, yeah. I imagine it works quite drawn out that way. And as soon as it's done, it's done. I mean, are you doing, like, a full insurance, like theft and all that stuff, or are you only just doing basic stuff?
Just third party.
Yeah, that's what we did, because, if it gets stolen, it was second-hand bike anyways.
Well, yeah, same thing with me, to be honest. I mean... Mine's same thing with me. It's not really. I mean, at the end of the day, if I fire and theft, then they want excess, and then it makes it basically so I'd only get like a couple £100 max if it got stolen.
Exactly. Like
So
you wouldn't even get like the price of the bike back, so there's no point.
yeah, basically.
And you'll be on L plates though, won't you?
Yeah, we'll be.
Yeah, because then you've got. So I think you won't be able to take him out on the back or anything.
Luckily, it comes with L plates though, so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, we just got like some Poundland magnetic ones. I mean, there was already one on like the front like windshieldy bit, and then we just put one on the back. That's how we do it. That's how we roll. That's how I roll. I remember once my dad and we went to Sainsbury's on it, and it couldn't quite get up. It's a really steep hill with Sladebrook, and it's really steep, and it just wouldn't get up there.
That's the problem with a 50.
Yeah,
you haven't got that extra bit of power to get you up that
sort of. And it's weird as well. Like the main argument for the main argument for why people they're like against motorbikes, they're dangerous and stuff like that is if they're so dangerous, why are they issued to people before cars?
It's not that they're dangerous. It's that they're the first things that people can get on the road, and they just happen to be. Some people happen to be, their mental age is a lot lower than their actual age, and they do silly things, and it's just the fact that they're on the road at all that makes it dangerous. I mean, they could be riding a bicycle and still be dangerous on the road. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like I remember this one time I was on the way to school, and there is this long road, and it's really long, it's really steep, right? And there's this like even longer road, and they sort of like T-bone conjoin. You know what I mean? Like they make the T. And this guy, he came down on a bike with no brakes. I'll never forget how horrific this was. Came down on a bike with no brakes, and this car pulled up to go past the traffic, and he was going too quick and he couldn't stop in time, and he pulled both his brakes as hard as he could. And his bike slammed right into it. He flipped over the car, and he landed on the bonnet of another car that was, right by it. And his bike wheel was 45 degrees. It was like bent like, bent like. It was horrible. It really was. I mean, you got to think about it this way though, haven't you? Really, of all the people with all the mental diseases in the world and physical diseases and old age and stuff. People are on the road with cars and with bikes and stuff, and they've all done the mandatory test, how hard it is. So you sort of think, no one's ever going to, randomly try and run you over for no reason. People do know this isn't GTA.
Well, it's not in their best interest to run you over, because then they've got a potential lawsuit on their hands anyway. But I mean, one of the things that I would compare it to, it's like, if you compare a 50cc and a push bike. Now, on my push bike, I could regularly get up to... No, if it was flat or downhill, I could regularly get up to 30 plus on a push bike. So what's the difference between me going 30 plus on a push bike when I don't have to wear a helmet, that's not even a full face helmet, and going up to where it's mechanically powered, and I have to wear a helmet, so therefore I have extra protection anyway, and I'm still going the same speed because the 50cc are restricted to, is it 30 or 31? So
it's 31, but you can quite. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying I have.
Well, mine's 125 anyway, so that's different kettle of fish.
But 125 anyway.
I was just making the basic argument for it.
I mean, what a 125 is 70, 75, isn't it? 70, 65, 70.
Yeah, they can go up to they can get up to that sort of speed.
You could probably get it to 75 if you were going
downhill. With the wind behind you.
With that argument though, it's like you feel a lot cooler on a 125 going down like a long winding road. You take every turn in stride. And you feel like the wind like go past you, feel like a fucking bullet, Whereas on a push bike you sort of feel fat and like kinda out of shape, and that's at least how I feel on the bike if I'm have certain helmets on. I sort of feel like fat and horrible, like, oh god, I feel awful. I just don't enjoy it.
I don't know. I quite enjoy biking. So
I mean, I up until I had the moped, I had an electric bike. It was literally like a regular push bike with a electric motor on it that could go about 20 when it wanted to. Now that was fun.
When it wanted to.
When it wanted to, because half the time it's like, oh, I'm gonna make a horrible noise and only go 8 miles an hour. And half the time, I'm gonna make no noise at all and go 20 miles an hour. So that was how that went. So that was how we occupied another podcast episode.
Yeah, it's been a very long episode.
I don't even know how long it's been.
Roughly about 53 minutes, I think.
That's podcast length.
I suppose. Two guys talk about random rubbish for an hour, and you sit there and listen. And then you click off this video, because you realise that now it's coming to an end and we're just about to say goodbye.
that should be like our little slogan for our podcast. Two random guys talk about random shit. There's no consistency in the real world. It's like, let's talk about CVTs for 40 minutes. Yay.
On other news, even though I haven't made a video on this yet, I do have a new job.
Do you now?
I do. Which is when I'm moving, I'm getting a new job, obviously.
Oh wait, where are you? Like, are you moving far, or is it like gonna be expensive?
Moving back.
Moving where?
Back to where I'm originally from.
Which is where?
Leicestershire.
Oh. Fair enough. And I assume you'll have a better job than, what is it, working in warehouses?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Better in terms of pay, yes, massively.
Definitely, yeah. Even if it's like bottling up tax to throw at people who are disobedient, and it's more pay, it's better than a job.
Well, I mean, the part of the reason for the scooter is because of the job, because I need the scooter to get to the job.
You need to sort of, get around the town quick, and you can't do that by walking or taking the bus.
Yeah, I really don't fancy taking the bus.
Which is why they exist, because you can say, fuck you, bus, and go on in front of it. And you can also go down bus lanes as well.
And the bus is surprisingly expensive also.
Yeah. It's like, you can go down bus lanes, and you can just sort of go in front of a bus, which I don't recommend. Go behind the bus. I also don't do this either. I did this several times, but I'm quite quick on the draw of my reactions, where the bus would stop and I would overtake it as it begins to turn out, and I would sort of.
What? You're a madman.
I would swerve in. It didn't sound as bad as that. It was stopped at a bus stop, and I would go past it as it began to turn out. But it's safer than it sounds.
Well, yeah, because you'd hopefully have more acceleration than the bus is pulling out.
The bus was turning its wheels. I was going forward. It's like with my accident. That wasn't my own incompetence. That wasn't my mistake. That was someone who wanted to save 30 seconds of his life by doing something illegal. By the way, by giving a bike a cold shoulder, which you cannot do, especially just after the traffic lights. Learn the fucking rules of the road. But if I ever see this car again, I might just throw eggs at it or something. Oh, I'm sure it'll get resolved. But with that, we've been rambling on for far too long. I'm going to let vanburman do his outro first. I'm going to go afterwards.
Well, if you've made it this far, then you obviously like both of us, which means you are a crazy person, and it also means
which means you might like me slightly more.
It means that you should watch mine and ColdSteelGames' videos.
Respectively, marathoning them as they come out at the same time.
You realise that I did a thing, and I realised that if you watch every single one of my public videos in a row, it will take you 8.5 days.
Damn.
Yeah. So if anyone does that challenge and can prove that they've done that challenge, I will let them make a video for my channel on whatever they want.
I might do that just to force you to make another Henry Hoover video. Henry Hoover, the successor amounts of cocaine.
There is actually, or I am planning on doing an announcement on Henry the Hoover sequel.
Brilliant. Nice.
But no one heard that, and no one's going to watch this far anyway, so no one will know about it until I do the video. So
I know about it.
Yeah, but you don't count. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm vanburman.
Cheers. My name is Adam from ColdSteelGames. Thank you very
And
much
if you click on his logo in the corner, you will get to his channel if you want to go and check that out.
It's basically like this one, but with more naivety, thumbnails, slightly better jokes, but overall
and less models.
less RPG, more TV show, Kickstarter. If you want to see a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old take the piss of a 13-year-old for making a terrible Kickstarter, or for mocking the guy who made a Kickstarter for Half-Life 3, come to my channel. If not, fuck you.
And on that note, we're going to end. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever that may be. Woo.